This is not Ross Twaddell, this is Orange Cassidy's thick with two C's Geordie cousin, obesity conjunctivitis, because that is two things I have at the moment. What a monumental episode of AEW Dynamite's last night's episode was, so let's crack on. Here are all your WTF moments. WTF! Insert t-shirt company joke here. Now Jim Ross claiming that Matt Hardy was teaming with the Young Bucks for the first time ever a few days after Matt Hardy had teamed with the Young Bucks for the first time ever at Double or Nothing was a little bit weird for me until Matt Hardy himself said to the Young Bucks, who were nodding in agreement, that this was the first time they had ever teamed together. I guess that I read too much into semantics and I need to get a life. And then we have Dasha Gonzalez introducing Matt Hardy as Broken Matt Hardy, and upon hearing this, Matt Hardy appears to be like, what? A hell no? Hold up, I'm not Broken Matt Hardy, I'm a spot monkey that was born before the Hardy Boys Hardy. Jim Ross shoots on WWE, insert fake gun noise here. So we're speaking about the wrestlers who are surrounding the ring inside Daly's place at last night's AEW Dynamite, and Jim Ross says, well, they could be stuck behind some plexiglass. Insert fake gun noise here once again. I've got the best gun noise, me. No, I couldn't tell if Jim Ross was having a go or mocking WWE when he said this, because to be honest with you, whenever I hear Jim Ross speaking words on AEW TV programs, he always sounds condescending and a little bit more than a little bit sarcastic. This was a weird thing for Jim Ross to mention for me, unless of course AEW are butthurt that WWE would dare to copy their fantastic ideas and therefore dare to make their shows a little bit better than they already were. And while thinking about this potential butt-hurtness, I was thinking penny for the thoughts of Ring of Honor, who have been using the WWE and AEW pandemic camera shot before the pandemic was even a thing. So the Butcher and the Blade attack the Young Bucks in the middle of that opening tag team match, and we don't get a DQ referee. I know the tag team match rules in AEW are basically non-existent, but this one was very weird for me. Very weird. But then we saw the ref miss the Butcher and the Blade's attack on the Bucks because Matt Hardy was distracting. So then we had a strange moment where the Young Bucks tag team partner was distracting the referee so the Young Bucks could get attacked by people not in the match. That makes no sense. Aye. And after initially seeing a nice motor plus some denim and thinking, bloody hell, Jay Leno is back in professional wrestling. No, FTR have arrived in AEW, and finally it has happened. It feels like these lads are now home. The spotlight on tag team wrestling, how great they are at the tag team wrestling, how much they care about the tag team wrestling. It's going to be fantastic for tag team wrestling in AEW. I got a bit too excited there, I'm sorry. But them wearing denim on their debut has to be a bit of a WTF moment when you remember May the 27th, 1996, and when somebody else wore some denim to make their debut in a new promotion. Oh, lovely callback. And I guess we could have also made it a WTF moment how FTR actually attacked Butcher and the Blade instead of attacking the Young Bucks right from the get-go. But to me, who is of course a useless hack on the internet, it looks like FTR were simply going, look at what we can do, lads. We can do it better than you, but no silly bollocks with this one, AEW. No axe throwing, no bowling, no golf, no basketball. Let these two lads wrestle and wrestle for a very long time, but I don't want to see them wrestle until we have crowds back in arenas. Let's hold off on this one and give it the full fat bells and whistles treatment it deserves. We've been waiting for this one for too long to get anything other than the best it could be. So let's wait until we have arenas full of people once again. Now hang on a second, she starts in AEW as Ali. She then becomes a leather-wearing rabbit with no real explanation whatsoever, and now, judging off this week's AEW Dynamite alone, it looks like Ali is back to being Ali. Huh? Do we have a female Matt Hardy here? Is this what we're doing here? I mean, I guess I have seen Ali and QT Marshall flirting on the Twitter machine, but that's only because I follow Jungle Boy, and every single time one of those two tweets each other, Jungle Boy quotes it and says, what the hell's going on? I mean, I guess Ali could also just be laying a trap for the Butcher and the Blade to get to QT Marshall and Dustin Rhodes, but why are they doing that? Who knows what's going on, but I just don't like it when things happen with no real explanation whatsoever. But then again, I guess it sort of makes you want to tune in to see what's happening next week. We had won this. I hope it goes somewhere good. You being an alien is a crock of poo, said Britt Baker right to a picture of Chris Statlander. And I was thinking, oh my god, it's WTF moment worthy that Britt Baker proved herself there to be the bravest woman alive on this planet, or whatever planet Chris Statlander comes from, because we all know you can't say you don't like an alien called Chris Statlander without somebody going, well, you liked a dead man, not dead man called The Undertaker for 30 years. Oh. I mean, I like Chris Statlander. I like her booping. I like her wrestling. I like The Undertaker. But Britt Baker going here is different levels. It's something else, everybody. And I'm going here once again because the negligence and the ignorance of Jim Ross to say Britt Baker's injury is, oh, it's bad, because wrestling, it's not ballet, is not a good comparison, Jim Ross, and let me tell you for why. Well, look at the feet of the ballet dancer, man. Up the ballet dancers are hard, no matter what Jim Ross might say. I like to see you do the old pirouette on your toes thing, Jim Ross. Aye. And here's a direct quote from Jim Ross himself when he says, I think that lady there has a nice upside. She also goes down pretty good. I don't think I need to say anything else here. Jim, that's an unfortunate turn of phrase. I'm sure you will agree. Whoa, hang on a second there. Somebody actually did the deal, but then somebody else did not kick out. A Falcon Arrow ends a professional wrestling match. I think we all have died. The end is nigh, time to run away, the end is nigh. And then we have to make it a WTF moment, don't we? The moment where Excalibur said, look at that beautiful bright red belt. And I guess the beauty, of course, is in the eye of the beholder, which I guess is the reason why my mom says I'm beautiful, but everybody else who sees me in this cruel world calls me an ugly, fat bastard. But Excalibur, that's besides the point. You calling that thing there bright and beautiful is just objectively wrong. It's crap. It's horrible, man. I can't wait for it to be finished. And I'm making Cody Rhodes' claim that Tony Khan is making a bell-to-bell wrestling company a huge WTF moment. Yes, we're seeing good matches in AEW, but you can't tell me, based off what we've seen from AEW since last October, that AEW is a wrestling company to WWE's sports entertainment. AEW is just as sports entertainment as WWE is, if not more so, with some of the more outlandish gimmicks we're seeing in AEW compared to WWE, which I have no issue with, by the way. I love the innocence of a Jungle Boy and his dragon. His dinosaur, of course. I wish he had a bloody dragon. I don't know what the hell I'm saying. The ideology that AEW is this bell-to-bell professional wrestling company like the good old days. It's all about the wrestling inside the ring. That is a crock of bollocks. And if they think they're still doing that, after what we saw at Double or Nothing especially, they need to give their heads a wobble, don't you think? Again, there's nothing wrong with sports entertainment. Sports entertainment is fantastic. I just thought it was weird how Cody referenced how Tony Khan was looking to build a wrestling company, bell to bell, and yeah, that never happened, did it? I will do a schedule like no wrestler has ever done before. I will be here every week for an open challenge, said Cody Rhodes. And of course, one thing was going through all of our minds, and that was Wabadoo! Different companies, I know, so I shouldn't really be doing a comparison here, but Cody can't stand there in the middle of that ring on AEW and pop the boys by saying, I'm not welcome in Connecticut. Vince McMahon lives there. He can't say we watched him grow up in front of our eyes. without referencing John Cena's United States Open Challenge, can he? And I was thinking, hang on a second there, I thought Best Friends were the #1 contenders for the AEW Tag Team Championships. Something that was established even further with their win at Double or Nothing. But then we had this match here on this week's Dynamite where the winners of that match there go on to face the Tag Team Champions before Best Friends get their shot. And to me at least, on the surface, without thinking about things too much of course, I was thinking that is arse backwards. Unless of course they want the AEW Tag Team titles to be visible on Dynamite after a very long time of not being visible on Dynamite to build them up a bit once again, and I guess that makes sense, but somebody else getting their shot before the #1 contenders, the #1 ranked tag team in AEW, just a bit weird, isn't it? And then we have Jim Ross saying there's not a championship title in AEW that Frankie Kazarian or Scorpio Sky couldn't win. That's how good they are. Women's one. And we get it, Aubrey. We saw the funny thing you did at Double or Nothing with the kick and the net and the score and all of that hilarity. But why did we have to see a callback to that in a match involving nobody from that Stadium Stampede ting? And I normally disagree with the people who say that referee Aubrey Edwards is a bit too distracting during her AEW matches, but that thing there, it was quite frankly unnecessary and a little bit cringe. And believe me, I put the cringe in cringe because I'm cringe. And the match graphic there is a huge WTF moment because that match graphic there told us that's not Billy Gunn, that's just Billy. You look so good to me. Where's Chuck? But look at Billy there, 83 years young, and he still looks like that. He quite frankly makes me feel more pathetic than I have ever felt in my life before. And believe me, I've felt very pathetic a lot of times in my YouTube twat career. Ask me the question, Mr. Obesity Conjunctivitis. What is one thing you did not expect to see when you flicked on this week's Dynamite? And I will tell you, Vicky Guerrero doing some cheerleading with the pom-poms and all of that. And that graphic there is a lovely touch. WTF moment there from Vicky. Those pumpkin-headed dip poos may have won the Stampede, but the inner circle never loses because I have a particular set of skills. I will find them. I will find them all like an unstoppable rebel force. I know where they live and I've seen where they sleep. And I swear all you fans will cry when you see what I've done to them. The end. The best work of Jake Hager's career without a shadow of any doubt, but I guess that now a big scary psychopath like Jake Hager reading poetry on a wrestling show, it would appear that Jake Hager's brand new gimmick that debuted on this week's Dynamite is now Heidenreich. That worked a lot better written down than it did coming out of my mouth because the He and the Heidenreich. Jokes aren't funny when you have to explain them. But another WTF moment arose from that Heidenreich poem. It's crap, isn't it? But I'm going to keep going with it. When he used the word Bessler, which means that Mr. Heidenreich is a massive fan of Ready to Rumble, and I did not expect that to be a thing because, as we all know, Jimmy King is the best wrestler, better than all the wrestler. What a film. Cejudo and Belfort mentioned by name, but Rashad Evans not mentioned by name. The AEW commentary team skipped over that guy's name, even though himself is a former UFC champion. How dare they? But that was weird, wasn't it? Seeing Tyson and those three together in a four-horseman ting. Oh. Took a bloody long time, didn't it? But it would appear after the closing stages of this week's Dynamite, we're heading towards a match in the year 2020, in a wrestling ring perhaps, between Chris Jericho and Mike Tyson, and that is Radio Rental. What else do you say? That is it, I think, for all your WTF moments from this week's AEW Dynamite. I have been Obesity Conjunctivitis. I've got me drops over there. Hopefully me eye sorts itself and I'll be back to looking as beautiful as I always once did. See you next time.